Maomao requests to see if it would be possible for them both to enter the room where the late emperor resided, to which the head maid declared she would request permission. Scene shifts to where Lady Suiren is making the bed for Maomao as she changes her clothes. She then thanks her for allowing her to use the room. Maomao preferred a couch versus the bed, but Suiren reassures her and lets her know it's been a while since she had come last, and then tells her to rest well. As Suiren leaves, Maomao thinks back to the fact that it had been a while and how she had been in the Jade Pavilion a whole lot lately. She is glad that she doesn't have to go back there tonight. Thinking about how she does not belong to any specific pavilion, frequently visiting other pavilions, she believes it may not be comfortable for a head lady in waiting to have around. Thinking a bit more, she doesn't even know what her own position is. Maomao then turns to look at Suiren, who was reading by candlelight, commenting on how extravagant it is too, which Suiren asks if she also wants something to read, and instructs her to check the back room for something to read. Maomao went to check and stated that books are precious and should be read at every chance. Maomao continued to look around and discovered a small box that was set aside. Lady Suiren snuck up behind Maomao, asking her if she was curious about what was in the box, which frightened Maomao, causing her to declare that she would not try to steal anything. The scene then shifts to where Lady Suiren is opening the box, explaining what's in it, letting Maomao know that those are Master Jinshi's favorite toys. She then asks Maomao what she thinks about Master Jinshi, to which she replies she thinks he is a good boss. Maomao then goes into a flashback and begins thinking, as long as he is keeping the medicines coming. Lady Suiren begins explaining to Maomao the contents of the box, saying that those items are the items she had to hide from Master Jinshi because he kept playing with them all the time. Maomao then asks why she took his toys away, to which Lady Suiren explains that if he focused on one thing too much, he would lose sight of the others, seeing that he was born into a position that doesn't allow for that no matter how hard it was, he had to step up and be the adult, and that it was what his mother desired. Maomao then looks into the box again and sees a folded piece of paper. She took it up and opened it and began to look at it before she could say anything. Lady Suiren took the paper, refolded it, and said, "There it is. I was told to throw it away." Maomao looked into the box again and asked if she could touch something else and was given permission. She then takes a cloth and picks up some object. Lady Suiren then states that it's a pebble, but Maomao thinks differently and asks if Lady Suiren took it from him immediately. Lady Suiren answered that she did too, which Maomao said good because it was poison. They both wondered why something like that would be lying around. Thinking about whether or not Master Jinshi had ever been to the court, Lady Suiren wanted to know why. Maomao thinking whether it has to do with the case she was trying to solve. The next day, everyone started making their way to the emperor's pavilion. Maomao put her arm over her nostrils, and she looked around, observing the space, in which she then moved forward and started inspecting the utensils and objects lying around the room. Making mental and verbal notes while asking questions as she listens, she notices Jinshi getting uneasy and nervous. Because she wants to solve this mystery, she starts to look around again, asking more questions, wondering if the late emperor only painted in this particular room. She got an answer and was also told about how he was waited on by one person and one person alone, and that he still works at the palace. The palace maid then sets out to bring that servant to Maomao. Maomao then gets permission to pick up the painting brush, checking the bristles and smell, drawing conclusions. She began to look around and noticed shards on the floor, markings here and there. She then turned and looked up at a wall, walked up to it and touched it, determining its soft texture and layers of thick paper on it. She already has an idea of what the curse is. In Maomao's observation, she realizes he seems to be really old for someone tasked with dealing with taking care of a most noble person. Realizing that the servant can't talk, Maomao tells the servant to just nod or shake his head in response to her questions. Maomao begins to question the servant, and he refuses to respond in any way. Maomao then notices his hands shaking and then realizes that he is trying to hide something. Maomao then walks up to the wall again, asking for permission to tear off the wallpaper, to which she was told to go ahead. Maomao looks at the servant whose eyes seem to be pleading for Maomao to stop. She still went ahead and pulled it down, revealing a very beautiful painting, shocking everyone witnessing this scene. Maomao begins explaining to everyone about this mineral called orpiment, and that orpiment has the same toxicity as arsenic, and that arsenic can make things less likely to decompose. While using it, the late emperor unknowingly absorbed it into his body. Maomao then gives an explanation as to why it would be in the emperor's system and how it was introduced. Maomao turns and bows after explaining and solving the curse mystery. Jinshi's mother walks up to the painting, analyzing it, while pondering whether the late emperor remembered her or included her in the painting. The scene shifts to the past, and she thinks about how the scar she carries is the only thing that's allowing her to be treated as the mother of the nation, and how she ended up as such. She accidentally became the victim of the late emperor and became pregnant. She also thought about why she ended up there and how her father took advantage of her youth and her menarche coming early for political advantage. The scene shifts again to how she at first was serving a concubine to her sister from a different mother, to which she was helping her prepare to meet with the emperor, who seemed to be very nervous and having an anxiety attack. She walked up to him to help and reassure him. From there, she ended up with the emperor and ended up pregnant with the emperor's child, her life in danger countless times. Fortunately, the child was a boy, to which the empress officially accepted him as her grandson. She also begins to think about Maomao's father feeling sorry for what he had to go through. As time passed, she no longer had the appearance of a young girl, and the emperor stopped visiting her as the rear palace grew and many young girls arrived tasked with the same mission as her. As she took a walk, the emperor seemed to have been out on a walk, also looking sad and dejected, walking by each other. Seeing him meet with and communicate with a girl younger than herself angered her. Seeing as he totally forgot about her, to her seemed unacceptable. The scene shifts, and we see that she went to him at night and forced herself on him. His facial expression terrified and contorted in the bedchamber as he begged for forgiveness as she tormented him. After what happened, the late emperor's mind was destroyed. He had shut himself in that building, possibly thinking only about his mother and the empress and the other girls who had no ambitions. He had painted her just once, which she treasured, but told Suiren to discard, having no need for it, like the late emperor had no need for her. Back to reality, she turned to leave, looking up, seeing Jinshi, who said that he visited us once, to which she answered that it was many years ago. Jinshi revealed one of his materials he used for painting. Both her and Jinshi stared at each other for a while, having a moment as she saw the late emperor's younger face in Jinshi's. Jinshi's mother then acknowledges that he seems to be partial to an interesting girl, to which Jinshi got nervous and looked away. Thinking about how she knows Jinshi so well, warning him to hide his favorites or someone else will hide them from him.